They have a Facebook page, Voices of Hope for Cecil County. And I think it's kind of neat that, Ken mentioned that a year ago, recovery house beds didn't exist, and now we've got several houses open. Well, a year ago, we were just talking about putting a face on recovery. We've got STEPS, we've got Voices of Hope, we've got the Addicts Mom, we've got all these other groups that are starting to stand up and bring this issue front and center from a different perspective. We're talking about real lives here and being able to show real change, because all too often, people don't get better because they don't know that they can get better. People don't get better because they don't know how to access those services to get better. People don't get better because they're afraid to reach out, the stigma that was talked about before. These groups offer the opportunity to kind of start to break down those obstacles and start to work on real solutions and focus on, let's collaborate with what we have, and I think we're seeing some success. I'd like to thank Councilman Dr. McCarthy, who came and met with the Voices a couple weeks ago. That's it.
I have to call. I must apologize. Take it home. Great. Great.
Thanks. Becky?
I'm Rebecca Larson from Cecil College. Right now, we're still in the process of building some initiatives and maybe some workshops through the health department and the college.
Congratulations on your new building, of course.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Ken?
Good afternoon again. My name is Ken Collins. I'm from the Cecil County Health Department. Also, for the past year, I've had the amazing privilege of working with our county executive on many substance abuse initiatives, and I have to say, county executive is incredible to work with, very passionate, very committed to this topic. And I think it sort of reflects about the progress we've made this year is in large part to her support. So to Terry, thank you very much. I want to remind folks, Drug Take Back is scheduled for Saturday from 10 to 2. There's a flyer out front. Please drop off, get rid of your unused, unneeded medications. Please share the flyer with your friends, your families, your coworkers. I also want to mention on the table out there, a lot of good posters, a lot of good information. We want to increase awareness on overdose response opportunities, initiatives. A lot of good posters on the table just outside this door. So on your way out, please grab some flyers, grab some posters, and help us put that information out to the community. Thank you very much.
Alan?
My name's Alan McCarthy. I'm the Cecil County Council. I was selected or asked to be on this board. I'm very honored to serve in this position. And at the present time, I'm just trying to learn about all the different volunteer organizations as well as the community, state, and county initiatives to basically help eradicate this dreadful disease.
Thanks. One little follow-up on the Drug Take Back Day. We've been advised by law enforcement authorities, even though you would think it would be helpful for you to go along and collect the medications of your neighbors and take them all over one day. Don't do it. You could be arrested for that. Yeah, would not be DAAC, in cooperation with the health department and several other people, sponsored a Q&A for our local candidates in August. That was the Republicans and the Democrats for county council and for sheriff. This was not open to the public. This was a chance for those candidates to come and ask us any questions they wanted, no matter how stupid or uninformed, so they didn't have to look foolish in public, but had the opportunity to find out what the issues were as they got into their fall campaign. We had excellent attendance. I want to thank Ken and Stephanie, and Nancy has already gone. Jack was there. Carl was there. All the candidates said they really appreciated it. They got a lot of good information, asked a lot of good questions. Hopefully, those of you in the audience, as you go to campaign events, can ask questions too. And hopefully, these candidates will all be primed to give you really good answers back. So hopefully, we've accomplished that mission. Thank you. Stephanie.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Health Department. My name is Stephanie Garrity and I'm the County Health Officer. I don't really have anything to report. Everybody stole my thunder, which is fine. But what I will say, it's really great to see everybody in the room. It's really great to have this kind of laser-focused interest on this very, very difficult problem. And I think if we all pool our resources together, we can certainly mitigate the effects of addiction. So thanks very much for being here today.
Hi, I'm Kelly Frost, just a regular citizen. I'm a just a regular girl. But I do have some comments. I'd like to know, first, when I first signed up for this gig, I was told that that we could actually make real change. Then I was told it was for educational purposes, then I was told we were just advisory. Our bylaws state that we're a little bit more than that. We actually should be making the initiatives. I was very concerned about an email that I received after the fact asking for votes for the initiatives that were sent up. I just want to go on the record that I didn't vote for those. My priorities would have been a little bit different. Mine would have been detox and peer advocacy and some of these homes. I like these homes. That's good stuff. But you guys had a vote, you said, and did anybody recuse themselves, or is anybody benefiting financially? This is on the board. I've got questions. I think that we're going in the right direction, but we really have bad numbers. We really have a problem here. I see it in my neighborhood. It's crazy. I've got to have a camera outside to watch the front of my house. You know, I used to take pride in Cecil County, and now I got a stigma against Cecil County. It's getting pretty bad. I'd just like to know how we're supposed to really operate. So can anybody clue me in?
Can we do that privately without getting?
What?
Because I know the audience has a lot of questions here too.
Okay. That's pretty much it. Want to know my role in society?
Thank you, Carol. Shaw?
I'm Sean Cannon with the Cecil County Public Schools. I'm blown away by everything that everyone's mentioned so far today. From a school standpoint, have been working with Ken, Collins, and Mike, and Kyle Lingerie, who's here, trying to put some early interventions into place for when we do identify students who have issues. Have talked with Ken and Mike about setting up having drug and alcohol counselors become part of our it's our SST process, but it's a student services teams. You know, periodically, on a regular basis, schools have teams that come together and meet, and they discuss students that they feel have that bubble to the top. And some of those cases, those are students that have drug or alcohol issues. When a student is identified as that, we will have contact Ken and Mike, and I hope I read one of those two counselors. Good. We will be able to contact and bring those counselors in, and they will be able to assist with contacting the family and then providing resources to the families so that they can get the assistance that they need in order to give their kid the help that they need. We are also, again, with Ken and Mike's help, and you're going to have to help me with the acronym because I never get it right, but in our Twilight program, which is an after-school program with students who are identified as, or students who are caught with, as first-time or identified as first-time users, there's a process that we have at school. We're going to incorporate into that process a new research-based program that is a 5-step program where there are 2 individual sessions with a drug and alcohol counselor, and then there are 3 group sessions with a drug and alcohol counselor. Those will happen in the Twilight School, which is an after-school program. It's not something that's going to happen where a student's going to be suspended out of school. We'll be able to keep them in school and provide them with hopefully the supports that they need in order to come back into the school setting and be successful and not to be tempted further down that long path. We're going to pitch a little bit here. As part of our budget for this school year, we had hoped to incorporate a life skills program that was countywide, that would touch all 15,000 students. Life Skills is a research-based program where students are given the skills to be able to deal with issues when they come up where drug and alcohol are present. I think it's a great program that has, like I said, it's research-based. It's not a cheap program, it's expensive. It wound up being cut from the county budget, or from, I should say, I guess from the school budget and from the county budget along the way. I'm gonna pitch now for, we're starting our budget process now, and we're gonna, life skills is gonna be a part of that program. I wanna pitch in there that I think this has the potential to have, in terms of prevention, a significant impact.
Thank you, John. Jack?
I'm Jack Foraker, I'm the Executive Director for Haven House, and I'm also a board member for the Maryland Addictions Professional Certification Board, which is where I was this morning. There's a lot going on with the merger and things that are taking place. I'm pleased to say that the board has certified 90 peer recovery support specialists this year so far, and there's more on the way. They are changing their name to the Maryland Addictions and Behavioral Health Professional Certification Board. Just add some more things and we all get new business with. So, they're also looking at training for the peer support people to help to better describe their role, and for the supervisors supervising to better describe their role so that they, the job description is a little more set. I don't know that they want to go into more regs with it, but we're trying to do it this way first. So there's a lot of stuff going on at the state level. There are some trainings coming up, which I know Jen was interested in, and I'll get that information. There is a website right now, it's mapcb@wordpress.com, and if you click on the peer recovery support icon at the top, it'll give you all the information on that, the ethics and stuff. As far as Haven House, we had our first Celebrate Recovery picnic back on the 9th. Dr. McCarthy was there and Terry was there, and they jointly got together. Terry held the mic and Doc read the proclamation, and we have it framed. We're going to bring that to the recovery walk. But it was well attended, I thought, for the first time. We had about 40 people. It was a fun evening. We bought a 12-foot inflatable movie screen, and we had Joe Walsh's recovery talk at the beginning, and then it went into a full Eagles concert till under the stars till about 11 o'clock at night. So we just went through a certification process with MSAR and MROC. This is a certification body in the state of Maryland that certifies recovery homes. Whether you're taking people on medication-assisted treatment or not, they are still a certifying body that will get you on a list that you can provide services. If you do take medication-assisted patients or clients, or whatever you want to call them, residents, it opens the door for some federal funding to help pay for beds. Out of a score of a possible 4 that we could get, we got a 5. He said he can't give us a 5, but we're a 5, and he wanted to know if we would be willing to go around the state and show people how it should be done. So I was really pleased with that. We have the recovery walk we mentioned, but we also have the Oxford houses in Delaware, just across the state line. At 2 o'clock on Saturday, we're going to have a picnic that will run on, and then at 6 o'clock Saturday evening at Five Rivers Church, a group has come together to raise money for Haven House, and we're doing a gospel concert. There'll be several artists there performing. We have a Halloween dance coming up in October at the Wellwood Club as a fundraiser. One of the most exciting things that's happened with me here lately was about a month ago, I was contacted by the vendors who produce all the tapes and videos for AA conventions. They have invited me to the International Convention in Atlanta, Georgia to perform the recovery show for the week. What's really exciting about it is they are also trying to book the Eagles. They contacted me and said, we really want to do this, and we were wondering if you would be interested. They want to take the proceeds from the concert. They want to donate half of it to a place that they have down there, a nonprofit, and they want to give the other half to Haven House. I don't know if I'll be on stage with them or not, but I'll officer will cash the check if they want to give it.
He'll be on stage.
And I also want to thank Terry and Dr. McCarthy too, and just the members of the board. I really do think there's a lot of progress being made, and we're talking now, you know. We're getting our voice heard, and I'm excited. I think there's some real changes to be made. All of our staff, by the way, Carl came down, the entire staff and all of our residents have been trained with overdose, the Narcan overdose. So anyway, this is our first year too with our grant coming through the health department, and I must say, they're a lot easier to work with than Preston Street. Laurie is just amazing, and so I thank you.
can't have
Terry, I was gonna ask Terry if she wanted, go ahead.
I just want to say, if you haven't seen Jack's recovery show, it's fantastic, and it sounds like they just schedule him like in here before he gets too big and he's on the road. So definitely be in touch. But it's a great, great show.
I'm on the t-shirt concession.
World tour.
I have a new, we created a new zombie alcoholic named Rutgut.
Terry, before we get into questions, do you want to say anything, because your name has come up several times?
No, I'm just pleased to be here, and I thank all of you for your dedication and commitment and your passion for dealing with this critical issue in Cecil County. And I'm very confident that working together, we're going to make a difference. Thank you.
Earl and Step, these two gentlemen here are not members of our DAAC officially. We kind of think of them as unofficial members. You folks have anything you want to say real quick before we get into questions?
The last meeting I talked about MSPIF, which is the Maryland Strategic Prevention Framework, which is an underage drinking prevention grant. We just entered our last year of that. Pleased to say that there was a lot of extra money involved, so we just decided as a coalition to ask for the moon, and we pretty much got it. So we doubled the amount of money that we got for all our police agencies to go out and do saturation party patrols. And also for the Liquor Control Board to go out and do compliance checks. We're also going to try to get more media exposure, like Facebook page and a website, that kind of stuff. So, and there's a symposium in November, and hopefully I'll find out more then, but there is supposedly more money coming in. It won't be called MSPIF. The state is calling it son of MSPIF. I was glad to hear that because I was the Save the Drug Free Schools coordinator for Cecil County Public Schools for 16 years, and during that time I realized that this is never going to end. But we can keep it. We can keep a check on it. We can just continue improving all the time. So I was glad to hear that funding was possibly coming in to continue this, because we definitely need to do this forever. We just have to constantly do preventive type of activities.
Thanks, Deb. Earl?
Just real briefly, we were very pleased for the extra money through the MSPIF grant. We have people hired or in place to start compliance checks, our underage enforcement. And if anyone needs to contact me, it's 410-996-5215 or ebradford@ccgov.org. We'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Can I just say one more thing? I don't want to come across as that we're going out there and doing stings. We had a big meeting with approximately 60 liquor store owners, and we said to them, look, we don't want to come across to you guys as the enforcers. Tell us what you want. And we had a great dialogue, and one of the things that came out of it was that we would hold 4 vendor trainings for fraudulent IDs. And instead of hitting a first timer with a big fine or whatever, the Liquor Control Board has decided that if you're a first time offender, you're going to have to come to the vendor ID. So you won't get a citation, you won't get a fine, but you will have to come to the vendor ID training. So we're working cooperatively with the licensees, and Don Harmer, who I think he's the general manager of Weaver's, has just been outstanding in getting all those people together. So we're going to continue doing that.
Okay, audience questions. The protocol is 2 minutes. If you're going to ask a question, first of all, it would be best if you could ask it to one of our presenters, because they're only here this time. If you have something else that's not on the agenda that you really have a burning question, 2 minutes per question. And if it's a long, involved answer, we're not going to answer it because we just don't have the time.
I just want a quick question.
Yes, yes.
Can we consider having these at a different time in the evening to where the public can be involved more? People don't have to take off work, like Kelly.
We can talk about it. Now, you have a lot of agency heads here who are not going to be available in the evening very conveniently. We'll look at it.
We can put it on.
We'll look at it. Yes, sir.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can use the podium if you want.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
You sound pretty loud back there.
I'd just like to get on the minutes is my primary concern. I talked to Mr. Collins about someone being here to represent law enforcement.
Okay.
I see that the state's attorney, I don't know if everybody knows, I did get a list of the members, which is helpful. The state's attorney is on, I've been to the 2 meetings, which, because of a prior schedule, they've been pretty drawn out, you know, with the frequency of them. I would ask that it would be put on the minutes that a request be made to make sure that there's someone here from law enforcement, regardless of who it might be, to fill his position. Because it is during a time in which I think it would be easy for those employed, you know, by the state to be here. You know, I know the community members go out of the way to be here. And just so I don't lose my time, I wanted to say that I would love to see reports. This gentleman that is very concerned because of the way he's putting these reports together, Mr. Carl Webner, as an advisory committee, how do we know how we're doing without statistics? I know right now how we're doing with overdose statistics. And I would love to see how we're doing with people that are being added to the addiction number in Cecil County because of the widely available amounts of opiates involved in this area. And I talk to law officers all the time. It seems what I'm hearing is that probation is a problem. People getting out on probation too easy. And we're not stopping these people where they're at. You know, we need to be coming across to some place where people don't want to sell opiates in Cecil County because they're going to put us in jail. You know, and I'll end it with that. But I'd love to go on the minutes with a request to try and fill that position so that we can get statistics on what's being taken off the streets, what's happened to these offenders, other than having to search through the papers to find, you know, 300 bags of heroin, young girl, what's happening to her, you know, what deals are being made.
I think that's excellent. Would you stop by at the end of the meeting and make sure we have your name and contact?
Sure, and
We'll get
Ken
back to
does.
you.
We had a brief discussion, and, you know, I was hoping to see Mr. Rollins here and with some type of presentation on that. I just think it's critical. And of course, with the mayor, with the sheriff's race, coming to a conclusion, I would hope that maybe someone that would get that position would be put here, you know, so that'd be.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Other questions?
Well, I guess I'll talk.
Okay.
Just want to let you know, I've been going down to DHMH. I'm sorry, wait. My name's Diana Brummel, councilwoman, and I've been going down to DHMH to meet with concerned citizens about the integration of the regulations of mental health and addictions. And apparently, they have plenty of representatives for mental health, but not for addictions. So we have a private meeting set up with Sharfstein, Director Sharfstein, to just get that covered, I guess. Also, thank you so much for your comments. I would love to have performance measures and just assessments to show that we are making progress. And it's refreshing to hear that, yes, we can now vote on the committee on drug treatment initiatives. But as Kelly was saying, the vote on the treatment initiatives for the 2-year plan was done after the fact, after it was put together, after it was sent down to the state, and after it was funded, I believe. So I think right now is the time that subcommittees would be put together to say what are future initiatives, research, go to other places, what are the best practices, where are the deficiencies in the treatment programs offered in the county, how can we improve it? And I would encourage that the public or citizens like this be encouraged to participate in the conversation. Also, the bylaws, they're critical. If those bylaws are not the right ones, where are they? And I know the law, Senate Bill 194, says that certain people will be sitting on this board, and you have to have a quorum to have a meeting. It's a good turnout, I'm pretty sure you have a quorum, but there are people here that should be sitting on this board. The sheriff, I think, was already named. What about emergency services? Emergency services shows us how many instances they used in naloxone. The first quarter, I believe it was 150 cases.
Okay, Ryan, 2 minutes. Can you wrap it up real quickly?
Okay, well, I guess, do you know what the number of Narcan instances are for the 6-month period? No?
For EMS or for the community participants in the ORP?
It's the numbers that Mr. Brooks had
For the
provided.
EMS. We do have the data. I've been able to share it with you.
Okay. So,
Yeah, we need that too.
thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've come to these meetings on and off for a number of months and years.
I remember your face.
And when somebody comes in with a new program, and I know this lady over here, you mentioned this, I would like to know as a citizen, when they talk about their program, whether they're a nonprofit or a profit organization. And it sounds like it's a silly distinction, but I'd like to know about it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Mr. Bennett, I'm Robert Hodge, the President of County Council. And I want to thank everybody in this room and those that are here today that are working on this effort. We know that it's going to be a challenge, and I know it's a tough job, and I know that we're working hard at it. And I think we can all agree that it's a never-ending battle. It's not going to come to a conclusion. You have to keep working at it. I have 2 comments. Number one is, in my mind, there's 3 components to this effort. One is prevention, treatment, and enforcement. We've talked a lot about treatment, but not a lot about prevention. I did hear the gentleman from the schools said we have a prevention program, but it wasn't funded, so we didn't implement it. And I know that the alcohol people are working at the alcohol, but not much was talked about, said. Now, I'm not suggesting that nothing is going on, because I know that there are efforts, but maybe we should emphasize that a little bit more.
Just to clarify, the school system does have prevention methods and education as part of the curriculum. However, it's a school-based, school-developed curriculum, and where Life Skills is a research-based program that has proven results.
But I don't want the schools to have the whole burden on their own.
I appreciate that.
It should be a community-based effort, non-profit, faith-based. Everybody should be part of the prevention program. And I'd just like to see, hopefully, we're pushing that effort a little bit harder so we don't have to do enforcement. We don't have to do prevention. Excuse me, we don't have to do enforcement for treatment if we do prevention. So I'd just like to see us put a lot more resources on that. I'd like to see more people. See that there's a lot more people stepping up in the treatment part of the problem, but why can't we have more people step up in prevention? The other comment is, and this goes back to, we heard from some new people that want to provide treatment services in Cecil County. And yes, it's true that when they try to provide the service, sometimes the neighbor says, not in my backyard. And this community of people that want to solve this problem are going to have to step up. And they're going to have to come to Board of Appeals meetings, they're going to have to come to Planning Commission meetings, they're going to have to come to council meetings, they're going to have to put some pressure on the executive. There's a lot of things that you can do to help support the treatment community, whether it's for profit, whether it's nonprofit, whether it's faith, or just individuals like Dexter House. As far as I know, that's a really individual effort. We need to, as a community, support these efforts and not let not in my backyard efforts prevent these things from happening. So I hope that we recognize that when there's a public hearing, there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons, and we need to balance it out with people that support the effort.
Thank you, Robert. Any other questions?
Mr.
Yes,
Bennett,
sir.
just one thing. Is it a possibility to have these meetings on a monthly basis so that we can have progress reports on a monthly basis. It would be more of a in-time sort of reporting. We know exactly what's going on at any given moment in time.
It has been suggested before, there are pros and cons to it, and I can talk to you a little bit after the meeting on some of the difficulties of doing that, but yes, it has been suggested.
Okay,
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, goodness. We are 4 minutes early, so I entertain a motion to adjourn unless there's anything else anybody needs to see. Favor? Okay, thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.